I would like to tell you all about a movie that I saw last night because it was quite an amazing thing to see. It's a movie that was released in 2010, but nevertheless, it is, I think we can say definitively, a big pharma propaganda movie disguised as a romantic drama or a romantic comedy or something like that. The title of the movie is Love and Other Drugs. Jake Gallagher is the main character. At the beginning of the movie, he's just like this kind of sleazy salesman slash womanizer type. Not really all that likable, but nevertheless, he's intended, I think, to be sympathetic. We're supposed to see him as a kind of charming rogue. He gets fired from his job for having sex with a coworker, during the workday, and so after that he decides to become a Pfizer rep because there is big money in it. Now the movie is set in the mid-90s, which will become an important detail as I'll explain in a minute. So initially, it seems like, and I guess this is kind of, I'm interested in movies even if they're not good, if there's something interesting, if they represent something, interesting, even if it's rather sinister, that sort of gives them a certain fascination to me, and I'm very very interested in the nefarious workings of propaganda, even though I'm very anti-propaganda, just because it's kind of fascinating to see how it works, or how it's intended to work, or how it really does work, in spite of our best efforts, in us meaning truth tellers, our best efforts to the contrary. Propaganda nevertheless works. So it seems at first that this movie is going to be a sort of cautionary tale. It's going to be about this guy who doesn't really have much of a moral center, who's just out to make a quick buck and to gratify his loins, and he's becoming this truly despicable, sleazy kind of person, hustling drugs for big pharma, going up and trying to basically bribe doctors into taking these drugs on and giving these drugs to their patients. And yet the whole time I'm thinking to myself, no, that can't possibly be true. Why not? Well, because obviously this movie was heavily sponsored by Pfizer, just like everything else is these days. And this movie was made back in 2010, but today, I mean, every show you see, every network, everything mainstream is brought to you by Pfizer, basically. But in this movie, the Pfizer sign is everywhere. We see all the Pfizer reps. They have the little Pfizer pins stuck to their shirts. And so the Pfizer logo is everywhere. And I thought to myself while watching the movie, this is obviously not going to be a movie which sides against Pfizer and their deeply amoral practices of these pharma reps. Instead, it's going to somehow show us that these reps are good. They're good people, and what they're doing is something that helps everybody, helps society. But I was thinking to myself, how are they going to do that? I mean, that this is just a really strange notion of, if you're going to propagandize in a pro-Pfizer sort of way, but yet you're admitting that you're sending forth these reps who are doing all these crazy, sleazy, amoral things to bribe doctors into doing business with them. How are they going to do that? How do they manage to? How are they going to square that circle? Well, it turns out they do it in a couple of ways, which are so sleazy. Just as sleazy as this whole movie is, just dripping with sleaze. It's a very oversexed movie. There's the hero, if you will, is a real pussy hound, to use a word that I don't usually use, but it's the best word to describe him. And there are all these sexy scenes between him and what emerges as his love interest, whose name I don't recall right now, but I'll remember it just as soon as this video is over. The brunette, the girl who was in Dark Knight Returns, who played Catwoman. You know who I'm talking about. So we see her breasts a few times. They get together. They're having this torrid sexual relationship, but it emerges early on that this girl, this young woman, is suffering from early onset Parkinson's. She's just 26 years old, and she's already afflicted with Parkinson's. So there's all this melodrama involving this guy who's just kind of into casual affairs, pump and dump kind of situations. He finds himself actually falling for this girl who wants to just keep things light, because she believes that no man would want to have her full time, because that would mean dealing with her symptoms as she ages, and worsen as her condition worsens, and she figures no man would want to take that on. So as this is happening, it also emerges that Pfizer, I guess, was the first company to bring forth Viagra, and so of course our hero is once the stuff about Viagra emerges, he becomes the spokesman for Viagra, and it makes perfect sense because he's basically a walking penis, a walking erection. But so he goes around, just selling up a storm, and it's presented as this good thing, like now people who haven't been able to enjoy sex for one reason or another, now they'll be given, thanks to this wonder drug, they'll once again have their sex lives restored to them. So, interestingly, cleverly, sleazily, but cleverly, the movie makes it so that this big pharma rep, who makes an obscene amount of money from bribing doctors, in basically an unethical practice, he becomes this hero for promoting this new drug that restores the sex lives of men who for one reason or another, whether it's age or injury or something else, have lost the ability to engage in and enjoy a love life. And that's actually presented as this heartwarming sort of thing, and like, oh, what a great guy, for promoting Viagra. But then we also see how it's thanks to a company like Pfizer that this Anne Hathaway, there you go, I remember her name now, that this poor girl, who's got early onset Parkinson's, and is already exhibiting some of the symptoms, that she's able to be more stabilized, more or less, and can go on and can have her symptoms addressed. It's not a cure, but it is a way of dealing with and improving her quality of life. significantly. So that's all because of Pfizer. Now they sort of soft sell that point, but it's basically put out there. So basically, the kind of movie we thought we were going to see early on, it doesn't go in that direction. We think we're going to see this guy who's essentially very selfish and greedy and a real sleazebag, a real schmoozing sleazebag, womanizing pussy hound. We're going to see, we think we're going to see him become chastened and somehow, for one reason or another, see that this job that he has taken on has really debased him as a person, which was more or less the trajectory that was taken by the show on Hulu, the Dope Sick, the show on Hulu, which also featured as a character a pharma rep who was pushing OxyContin everywhere and on doctors and helping a huge amount of the American population to become addicted, and all of the terrible resulting effects of this eventually come home to roost, and this guy sees the error of his ways. You think it's going to take that turn, but no, of course it doesn't take that turn, because this is a movie which prominently features Pfizer everywhere. Pfizer. So it's a Pfizer sex propaganda movie. Now, this was from way back in 2010, well before the Baj and the prominent role that Pfizer has played in the distribution of the Baj. but it caught my attention just I didn't even know about the movie, and I just found out about it by chance, hearing about it from somebody else showing a scene of it on their Instagram page. And I said, what is this? I've got to check this out. So even back in 2010, the country was a more mellow place by far than it is now. These last 12 years have aged us about 40 or 50 years. Those of us who have had the misfortune to live through them, which is probably most everybody who's watching this video. But we see that even in 2010, this big pharma propaganda piece. I mean, this must have cost a lot of money. This had big movie stars in it. Jake Gyllenhaal, Anne Hathaway. It featured some other people whose names I don't know, but who are character actors that you see a lot. So this was not some, by any means, low-budget movie. And really, the gall of it, the manipulation of it all, especially the stuff regarding Parkinson's and the debilitating effects of Parkinson's, and how ultimately this comes back to an advertisement for Pfizer using the debilitating degenerative disease, a disease like Parkinson's, to pimp their products and to put their name out there, in a very, it's not. I'm not going to say it's subtle, because you see Pfizer, a ton. The name is out there everywhere. There's definite product placement. This movie would not have been made if it were anti-Pfizer in any way, because Pfizer would not allow for their logo to be used the way that it was. But just somehow that even in 2010, before all of this mess, well before all of this mess, there was still this this nefarious dark alliance between Hollywood and Big Pharma, and it's just so sneaky that they try to push it as this sexy romantic comedy or romantic drama or whatever the hell it is. It's not particularly funny, and it's not particularly touching or moving or any of those things. It's not a very good movie, in my estimation, but it tries really hard to tug on your heartstrings, and it's all just an advertisement. It's all just big pharma propaganda. So anyhow, that's my review / analysis of Love and Other Drugs. Let me know if you've seen it and if you have any thoughts about it, and if there are other movies like this that you could bring to my attention. Thanks for watching.